Jai Hind to all. In the lecture series of spectroscopic technique and application, this is the 6th lecture, and in this lecture I will discuss the points of microwave or rotational spectroscopy, and the references which I preferred is main Y.R. Sharma, that is Elementary Organic Spectroscopy Principles and Chemical Application, Engineering Chemistry by Shashi Chawla, even NPTEL also. I took few points of NPTEL and questions, the principles and practice of analytical chemistry by Fifield and Cayley or B.K. Sharma, or diagram or pictures I have taken from the Wikipedia. So, first microwave spectroscopy. As we know that there is a distribution of energy level, and the vibrational energy level are these V0, V1, V dash 0 or V dash 1. This is ground state or excited state, and the lots of rotational energy level, these are associated with vibrational energy level. Okay. And all these energy levels are quantized. So, if there is a transition in between vibrational as well as rotational, then it is IR spectroscopy. But since here I am discussing the rotational. So, in rotational spectroscopy there is a basically transition between the vibrational energy level due to rotation of the molecule, and for this rotation the microwave radiations are sufficient, that is radiation of low energy, and for this, since microwave radiations are sufficient, it is known as microwave spectroscopy. And since there is a transition in rotational energy level, so also known as rotational spectroscopy. So, we can say that it is concerned with transition between rotational energy level in the molecules. And which type of molecules show this type of spectroscopy? Those type of molecules which have permanent dipole moment, they can basically they can absorb the microwaves, and we get absorption or vice versa, that is emission spectra. So, if we see that suppose there is a molecule AA. Now, in case of AA, there is no polarity, or we can say there is no dipole moment, and I think one thing should be clear, that dipole moment is a vector quantity, means it depends on direction as well as value. So, if the value of the same molecule is same in each and every step, but if the direction is different and the direction is always towards the highly electronegative atom, then definitely this compound will show a dipole moment. So, in this case let A be, and which one is more electronegative, it will basically push the electron. HCl and CO. HCl, it is a linear molecule, but both atom they have different electronegativity, and because of difference in electronegativity they show permanent dipole. So, HCl will give a microwave spectra, that is it is microwave active. Now, CO, again CO, it will give rotational spectrum, because since it contains permanent dipole moment. But homonuclear H2, Cl2, F2, their dipole moment is, initial dipole moment is 0. So, we can say they are microwave inactive, that is they will not able to give rotational spectra or microwave spectra. And another point is the molecule, it must be in gaseous phase. So, rotational spectroscopy is only rely practical in the gas phase, because in gas phase the first point is the rotation in all direction is possible, and another point is in gas phase the rotation is quantized, while in liquid and solid phase it is not well quantized. So, in solid and liquid the rotation is usually quenched because of collision between their molecules, but in gaseous phase molecules are far apart, so chances of collision is less, so it can show this type of spectra. Now, there are three another example or in question. Br2, HBr and CS2. Which of the following molecules would show rotational spectro? So, Br2, the dipole moment is 0, and to be a microwave active it must contain permanent dipole moment. So, it will be IR, so it will be microwave inactive. HBr, Br is different, Br has different electronegativity than hydrogen. So, definitely there will be a polarity, that is dipole moment. So, it will show microwave spectra. Third, CS2, in case of CS2, initial dipole moment is 0, and if initial dipole moment is 0, so again it will be microwave inactive. Now, this is with this we can explain the mechanism. It is a molecule which contain positive as well as negative dipole, and when it rotate we get different direction of dipole. It means when it is like this, and in all cases the value is same, but since the direction is different, then definitely it will show dipole moment. So, direction is this here. Now, after rotation we get this type of direction, then this, and then this. So, this is the basically type, or we can say a molecule which contain a permanent dipole moment. It will create or produce this type of fluctuating electric field. So, this is the basically pattern of electric field which is produced by a molecule having dipole moment. And electromagnetic radiation, and since microwave is again electromagnetic radiation, so it contain electric component as well as magnetic component, and both are perpendicular to each other. And when the value, or we can say the frequency of this electric component become equal to frequency of this fluctuating electric field, the microwave radiation, when it is irradiated with microwave radiation, and the range of this microwave radiation is about 1 to 100 centimeter inverse, or we can say 3 into 10 to the power 10 to I think 3 into 10 to the power 14 meter inverse, but I think it is easy to remember 1 to 100 centimeter inverse. So, the simple, when the molecule is irradiated with microwave radiation, and if it has permanent dipole moment, so it will create or produce the fluctuating electric field, and when the frequency of this fluctuating electric field or the component of this electric field becomes equal to the component or frequency of the electromagnetic radiation lies in microwave region, then resonance will occur. Resonance will occur means either the radiation will pass into the molecule or molecule will emit the radiation, and in both cases we will get either absorption microwave spectra or emission microwave spectra. In absorption microwave spectra, if the molecule absorb the energy and goes from lower to higher energy level, then we get absorption microwave spectra, and if molecule emit the energy and goes in higher to lower energy level, that it will show emission microwave spectra. So, I think theory is clear. When the frequency of this electric field becomes equal to frequency of the electromagnetic radiation, and when this electric field appear, if the molecule has dipole moment, permanent dipole moment. Now, to find the energy, first we should know the few terms. First is rigid rotor. The rigid rotor in which bonds do not distort under the stress of the rotation. That is, when we rotate the molecule, the bond distance does not change. Then this type of molecules are known as, we can say, as a rigid rotors. And in a linear motion, we know that the momentum P is equal to m into v. But in case of angular motion, we can say angular momentum, and which is equal to I into omega, where I is the moment of inertia and w is the angular velocity. In case of linear motion, linear velocity, it is change in distance per unit time, while in case of angular momentum, angular velocity omega, it is radians per time, that is 2 pi. So, linear momentum P is equal to mv, and for rotation angular momentum it is I into W, where I is the moment of inertia. And what is the moment of inertia? In a simple language, if we rotate the molecule, the force which acts against this, that is the value of force for the rotation, we can say moment of inertia. For a single molecule, let the mass is m1 m, then I is equal to mr square, and for a suppose linear molecule or any rotator, let the mass is 2 m1 m2, and this is the center of gravity. Suppose mass, if the mass are not same, then the center gravity is towards higher mass, and let this distance is r1 and its distance is r2. So, along the center of gravity I is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square. This. So, moment of inertia is also called mass moment of inertia, and which is measure of an object's resistance to change in rotation state. So, if we molecule rotate, the force which is against this is termed as a moment of inertia. So, if moment of inertia highs, that is we have to apply the higher value of torque or force. So, suppose we take a linear molecule HCl. So, in this case, let along 3 axes it has the moment of inertia, along x axis that is IA, along y let IB, let IC. So, if like this is a molecule, it is a linear molecule, this is HCl, this is suppose Cl and this is H. So, if we rotate along this axis, that is, since the position of atom is not changed, so we can say that we can apply a less force, and we can say it is approximately 0, but not exact 0, but here we can say IA is 0. Now, for another rotation is like this or another rotation is like this. In both case, the position of atom get changed. Since the position of atom get changed, then we have to apply some force, that is it is not equal to 0, but in both case the situation is same. So, we can say that IB is equal to IC. So, for a linear molecule, the moment of inertia along this principal axis it is 0, and for another axis it is not 0, but may be equal. Now, the rigid rotors, and rigid rotors means when they rotate the molecule the distance does not change, but the rotation is always along the center of gravity. So, on the basis of this, rigid rotors are classified into 4 groups. First is linear rotors, second is spherical tops or symmetrical top, and fourth is asymmetric top. Linear rotor, I think it is clear that any one axis, since the position is not same, it is like this, then 0, and IB and IC it may be 0 equal, sorry. For spherical top means symmetrical molecule like methane, suppose CH4. In all cases, if we rotate along any direction, and since all 4 atoms are same and the center of gravity is near the carbon, so here we can say that the rotation in all 3 axes it will be equal, that is IA is equal to IB is equal to C. And since this type of rotors that does not have permanent dipole, so they will not show microwave spectrum, that is they will be microwave inactive, not active. Third is symmetric top rotors. Symmetric top rotors, a simple example is suppose CH3Cl. So, here the carbon 3 hydrogens and 3 are same, but when at the top there is a suppose Cl and which is highly electronegative. So, in this case the center of gravity it move towards the Cl. So, in between it will be basically in between carbon and chlorine, because direction is towards the highly electronegative atom. So, in this case when we rotate the molecule, so first thing is clear, there will not be any there is IA, IB or IC, any value will not be 0. But in this case if we see that if we rotate along principal axis, then for this rotation comparatively a different amount of energy is required for another two values. So, here we can say along two axes are same, two axes are same, but third is different. And fourth, asymmetric top may we can say all four are different, and this is the very good example, CH2 double bond CHCl. So, they have all three different moment of inertia, that is IA is not equal to IB is not equal to IC. So, all four conditions are there. For linear, one is 0 and another two is same. For a spherical top, all three are same, but it is microwave inactive. For symmetrical top, two are same and third is different, and there are two situations, percolate or prolate or late, I think. So, in one case along one axis moment of inertia is greater, while in second case it is comparatively less, and for asymmetric top all three are not equal. Now, homonuclear diatomic molecules like CH2, O2, N2, Cl2, since they have not permanent dipole, or we can say during the rotation their dipole moment does not change, that is no interaction with radiation. So, these type of molecules are always called microwave inactive. While in heteronuclear diatomic molecules or those type of molecule where the electronegativity of both atoms are different, they have permanent dipole moment, they are polar compounds. So, there is a change in dipole occurs during the rotation, that is we can say there is an interaction with the radiation. So, these types of molecules are called microwave inactive. Now, next topic is calculation of energy for a linear diatomic molecules. So, for BTech syllabus we will read only this type of example, not symmetrical top or asymmetrical top. We will discuss only linear diatomic molecule. So, let us take a linear diatomic molecule, let A be, this is A and suppose this is B, and since mass of A is quite high, so the center of gravity it will goes towards this A. Let the center of gravity C is here. The internuclear distance between the A and B is R naught, and the distance from the center of gravity of A is suppose R1, of B is suppose R2. Since it is a linear molecule, so there will be a condition that along principal axis moment of inertia is 0, and for other it may be equal. So, this. So, as per the center of gravity rule, M1 R1 it will be equal to M2 R2, and R will be equal to R1 plus R2, where you write R naught. So, R naught will be equal to R1 plus R2, and the moment of inertia combined it will be M1 R1 square plus M2 R2 square. Now, here we find the correlation with reduced mass, because the individual calculation with individual mass is quite difficult. So, we find combined mass. So, for this let put the value of R1 from this. So, M1 next slide we can see. So, center of gravity M1 R1 is equal to M2 R2, and since R1 plus R2 is equal to R naught, so we can put the value of R1 or R2. So, M1 R1 is equal to M2, we can say R naught minus R1. Now, R1 is common, we can write M1 plus M2 which is equal to M2 R naught. So, we can put the value of R1 is equal to, in combined equation, which is equal to M2 R naught upon M1 plus M2, and similarly we can find the value of R2, and which is equal to M1, but R naught is same, M1 plus M2. Put the value of R1 and R2 in combined moment of inertia, I is equal to M1 R1 square. R1 square means M2 square R naught square divided by M1 plus M2 square plus M2 M1 square R naught square divided by M1 plus M2 square. And after solving this, we can say I is equal to M1 M2 upon M1 plus M2 R naught square, where R naught is the internuclear distance between A and B, and this is the reduced mass. If there are two masses, then reduced mass, which is shown by mu, and which is equal to 1 upon M1 plus 1 upon M2. And generally for calculation we take reduced mass in kilogram. So put here, so I is equal to, so we can say the moment of inertia of this combined linear molecule, it will be M1 M2 upon M1 plus M2 R naught square, and which is equal to mu R square, and mu it is in kilogram, not in AMU. So from the moment of inertia we can find the bond length as well as atomic masses. Now for energy derivation we can say, for energy, here the equation 1 is this, I is equal to mu R square. Okay. L is equal to I omega, we know that, angular momentum, and the energy of rotation for linear we know that half mv square, and the for energy of rotation which is in joule and which is equal to half I omega square. And L is also from the Schrödinger quantum mechanics, for rotational energy level L is equal to under root j into j plus 1 h cross, or we can say h upon 2 pi, where j is the rotational quantum number. So if we solve this energy, because our aim is to find out the rotational energy required for rotation. So here we find Ej is equal to half of I square omega square divided by I. So here we can write L square upon 2I and put the value of L, it is h square upon 8 pi square I j into j plus 1. This is the energy of derivation required for rotation, but in joule. And since in spectroscopy we relate the radiation with frequency or wave number, so we convert this energy into centimeter inverse. Okay. So I think this is clear. So energy h square upon 8 pi square I j into j plus 1, where h is the Planck constant, I is the moment of inertia, and j is the rotational quantum number. Now to find the expression in centimeter inverse, we know that E is equal to hc upon lambda or h nu. Since 1 upon lambda is wave number, so we can say hc nu bar. So if we divide the energy from h into c, we can find this energy into centimeter inverse. So here Ej upon hc, and which is the put the value of Ej, h square j into j plus 1 upon 8 pi square I, this h cancel. So finally we get the energy in centimeter is h upon 8 pi square I into c j into j plus 1. And to simplify this derivation, let h upon 8 pi square IC is the B. So B is known as rotational constant, and which unit of this is centimeter inverse. So the energy required for rotation is, which is in centimeter inverse, it is B into j plus 1, where B is equal to h upon 8 pi square I c. So, from this derivation we can find any type of energy for transition from n level, from any level, that is from 0 to 2 or 0 to 3 under the conditions. So, how to calculate this we will discuss in next class. Thank you.